For the last 25 years, I've made a living going up and down the road and in the rodeo arena. It's time to hang up the bull rope. Well, I really don't remember the first one. I had three older brothers and older sister. My dad rode, bucking horses and bulls. I'm telling you, I was riding, horses out in the pasture when I was still wearing diapers, and my dad would take one diaper with us to go spend all day working cattle. So, no telling how many times I've been out there riding dirty. But, it's been my whole life. My oldest brother, Justin, by the time I was 5 or 6 years old, he was putting on junior rodeo, so I was always involved in it and always going. It's just what my family did. I was good enough, even at junior rodeos, I'd do good, and I started making a living riding bulls and bucking horses when I was in high school. I showed up with a brand new truck one week and a brand new trailer the next month at school, just what stuff I'd won. I'd win $100,000. Making more than the teachers at the school for a while. Got a full ride scholarship, go to Southwestern Oklahoma State University on a rodeo team. So of course, when I got out of college, I never did fill out a resume, just straight on to the professional ranks.
From the time he was 4 or 5 years old, his whole life, he's been entered in 4 or 5 rodeos a week. When he was in junior high, we'd go to 3 or 4 a week. We'd make the slack at 1 in the morning, and we'd go to another association in the afternoon and go to another that night. Well, he never did have time to get on practice bulls. We was always going. And that's the thing about him. He's a road warrior. He never got too much of it. You couldn't go to more than, you couldn't burn him out, because I tried. And the more you went, the more you wanted to go. And I enjoyed going too, but it's been that way always. We used to get in the slack at the high school rodeo so we could go to an open rodeo that night, be back at the high school rodeo the next day, and it's been that way always. When Cord was in high school and he got out of school, and they'd never been anywhere, and he wanted to make the IFR, and he was actually he didn't even have his driver's license. And he was old enough, but he always let somebody else drive. He never got it. And that summer, we made 43 rodeos in 30 days.
He's been my biggest competition my whole life, whether we were riding broncs or bulls or roping or whatever else we were doing. We always competed at everything that we did. So having him in the truck with me and me in the truck with him, I had somebody there watching me that, any mistake that I made, Cord had seen me on almost every head of livestock my whole life, so he could tell me exactly what I was doing, and vice versa. I could tell him exactly what he was doing. And it was always fun, because even from junior rodeos growing up, we were always either first and second or last and next to last, depending on how good we were getting along. But we were always right together, and we'd always competed at everything that we did.
Well, it was neat. I had a huge opportunity for me and my brother Jed in the IPRA, because you could be a member of the IPRA and not even be 18 years old. And I think I was about 15. I went to the International Finals Rodeo, and I watched the bucking stock sale, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to ride in that bucking stock sale next year. And, I hit the trail. I didn't ride in the bucking stock sale the next year. I rode in the International Finals Rodeo. Became the youngest person to ever win the all-around at the International Finals Rodeo at 16, and still hold several records in the IPRA, and still wear the buckle from the IPRA. I mean, it's something that I kind of broke into my professional career in the IPRA.
you asked the question of my first memory of Cord, or first time I met him, I don't ever remember not knowing him, or any of the McCoys. We all junior rodeoed together and was beside each other every day. But if I had to break it down and think back, it was, you know, you never seen Cord without Jet, you never seen Jet without Cord. One had a white hat, one had a black hat. And there's always in the steer or the calf ride, and that's probably my first memories of Cord, is just being the little redhead that was in the calf riding. Seems like I should kind of be the mentor, but I always kind of looked up to Cord. You know, he was younger than me, but I always thought, you know, man, he's a good hand, this little guy. I remember just a little bitty fella running around and could rope and rode broncs and chewed snuff. He was just the epitome of a little cowboy. You know, I always looked up to him, from the first time I met him. You know, I was just like, I can remember. It's like the first guy you see when you walk up to a junior rodeo, you know, and I guess I was riding steers, and the first time I would have met Cord, he would have been riding calves, but I think they had a little bareback riding and the whole deal. Every event that these guys could enter, they were entered in it, you know.
There's been times where we've jumped in with each other and caught rides with each other and stuff, so we've got to be pretty good friends over the years. And probably the most memorable ride I seen Cord do was he rode Big Bucks one time, and I think he was 93 points on him, and at the time no one had even started that bull up past 2 seconds, so Cord let us see what he had after the 2 second mark. And
holy smoke! Cord McCoy has done it! Well, how do you like that? Step up to the plate, and that's not a home run, that's a grand slam home run.
One thing about Cord was, no matter how bad things got, or he was always there with a smile on his face to, you know, make a joke or something and cheer you up, no matter how bad you just rode or whatever else. So that was the one thing I'll probably always remember about him.
It's a big family, and you'd be surprised, you know, how much fun a bunch of bull riders can make the dullest things. You know, just sitting in the hotel rooms cracking each other up or pulling pranks on each other. Because when you're not riding anymore, you don't get to see your buddies until you visit an event, because you miss it so much, and it's like a big reunion all over again.
But if he gets things out, he can stay on him.
Cord to be able to still compete and ride bulls like, you know, Pure Smoke in his final year out, you know, that's a bull that seldom gets rode, and he handled him pretty easy, but that's coming from a guy that has rode, you know, a lot of the tough ones that don't get twisted, like Ricky Bobby, and you know, the list goes on. And to be able to do that in your later years and go out with those under your belt that some of the rookies can't even hang on to, that's a pretty good accomplishment.
I don't think there's anybody that's overcome as much adversity as he has. When we were in the 12 and under steer riding, the steer turned back and the end of his horn went through his mouth and knocked out 2 teeth, and they had to sew his mouth back together. And then when we were in high school, bull stepped on him and broke his femur, and then they put a rod and a bunch of screws in it, and he had to overcome that. And then wasn't long after high school that bull stepped on his arm, broke both the bones in his right arm. And then, of course, you know, the accident in Oklahoma City when he got kicked. And you know, it just seems like, looking back on his career, there's been so many opportunities for him to quit, and every time one of those things happened, the doctors always said, well, this is a career-ending injury. This is going to be the end of his career. And every time one of those happened, just as soon as he was well enough, he was back to riding again. And, you know, there's just not very many people that's had to overcome those types of injuries and those types of adversity. Most people, when they do undergo an injury of that magnitude, usually that's kind of the end of it.
Steve, we're all out here as farmers and ranchers to make a living. The best ways to help that is saving money. Tell me a little bit about the Haymax and how it's going to save me and you and everyone out there a little bit of money.
Well, there's many styles of this type of feeder out there. This is just one of the many. And basically the way this works is you're going to get about a 33% savings from your hay. So what they say is for every 3 bells you save a bell. The nice thing about this feeder is it keeps the hay up off the ground On a typical feeder, you've got the hay on the ground, and where it sets on the ground will mold out. Cattle, horses are not going to eat it. It also takes that bell, and instead of having it right beside the opening where the animal grabs, when it pulls that hay out, half of it falls on the ground, they stomp it in. When they grab that mouthful, half of it's going to fall inside and still stay inside the feeder, and so they can still eat that feed while it's still inside. It's got the sheeting on the top, which is really nice on a feeder of this style. The sheeting keeps the animals from coming over the top and grabbing it, so where they have to grab it is from the inside.
Well, it's all a pull and grab, so what they have in their mouth is what they're eating. What drops stays inside this line, pretty much another feed trough at the bottom as well.
Yes, sir.
I rode a bull riding in Florida and then flew back into Oklahoma City because I made the short round in the saddle bronc riding at the PRCA rodeo in Oklahoma City, the state fair. And I remember waking up about a week later in a hospital and just looking at people, standing around me. At that given time, there was, no thought about bull riding again or bronc riding, anything like that. I was just glad to be alive. But the further away from the injury I went, the more the determination would build up that, hey, I wasn't done yet. I'm not done. And I think each day, whether working out or doing physical therapy or speech therapy, whatever I was doing, I just shook it off and set my goals again.
After his injury, that was a almost life-ending and definitely a life-changing. You had to learn to redo the most basic things in life, and then to be able to come back and compete at a level at the Built Ford Tough Series that's quite an accomplishment in itself. And I think that's something that has always stood out to me since it happened, and something that I'll always remember about you.
For a while there, we didn't know whether he was going to make it or not, let alone be able to ride. But the amazing thing about that, when he finally come to and started learning how to walk and talk and do things again, his main goal of learning how to walk and talk and do things was to see how fast he could go back to riding bulls. That was his whole deal, whenever. And the day we went to Oklahoma City and to see if the doctor was going to release him where he could go back to riding bulls, why, we walked out of this doctor's office, and it was a great big long hall, and he hollered and skipped all the way down the hall. And
it was crazy. The physical therapy, I went to a Pinnacle Rehabilitation Center and, spent a month there, and they finally come in and said, if you can get up and put your pants on and brush your teeth, we'll let you go. And I got up, put my pants on and brushed my teeth, and said, see y'all later. But the speech therapy was a lot longer. I went for several months after that. I would go Monday, Wednesday, Friday and meet this sweet little lady in an office room, 3 days a week, and she'd do flip cards and, name all the towns you can in, 60 seconds and all these exercises that I'd have to do. But I knew I was building up for something, I thank God to have so much after the accident.
To highlight those best rides and worst wrecks, of course, can't have one without the other, really. Talking about the big bucks riding big bucks, he was the bucking bull of the year, and I think that might be one of the better rides that I ever seen him make. Of course, everybody knows about the horse wreck and in a coma for a week or two or whatever it was, and then going to see him in the hospital. And I remember walking in there and he said, we got the books open for Salt Lake or something, tomorrow. We got to be sure to enter. So, yeah, Cord, yeah, we'll enter it. Don't worry, But he's got highlights of it all. This is it's weird to talk about him as a friend, and as he's retiring, it's a little odd to talk about the good times and the bad, but you can't do any of it without knowing that he smiles every bit, and it's a genuine smile. It ain't nothing fake about him, and that's what I like about it.
I'm 34 years old. Cord, I got a year on him, but you know, Cord and I, we started youth rodeo together from IFYR down in Shawnee, Oklahoma. You know, where him and his brother, they came in there and they whipped all of us down there. But that was home state, so he had the advantage. But I've known Cord all my life. He's a really good guy. A lot of great memories with Cord. But the one thing that always sticks out in my mind, Cord, is you know, your bronc accident. I mean, you were down and out. You were down and out. I mean, Cord had to, you know, teach himself how to walk, teach himself how to talk, and just the true grit, you know, the true cowboy spirit that he showed by overcoming, you know, something that severe of an injury, and then coming back and going on to become one of the greatest bull riders, you know, of all time. You know, so that's something. I mean, that's what being a cowboy is all about, and that's something I'll never forget.
He ran his way through the hearts of reality TV fans across this globe. We know him as that ride redhead from Tupelo, Oklahoma. It's Cord McCoy.
You know, to be able to retire the same year as some of your best friends. I mean, obviously Luke Snyder everyone knows Luke, you know, he's going to be his last year, and of course you, Cord. We've had our careers, we've ridden our careers together, and you know, it's going to be fun to go through life here in 10 or 20 years to be able to, you know, say, I rode against them guys and we retired, we were friends and we retired at the same time, and now we all retired at the top of our game. I mean, that's the way that it is. When you're a PBR bull rider and, you know, you decide you're going to retire, you're obviously at the top. So, you know, it's a pretty cool thing to be able to do. I mean, we'd all like to trick ourselves into thinking you can do this forever and you want to keep doing it as long as your friends do it. But, you know, I think between all of us, we know that we can't do it forever, and what we've done is good enough for us.
Cord exemplifies what makes bull riding popular, and that is effort. No matter what you know about bull, any fan can know absolutely nothing about bull riding, but they can recognize effort. And what Cord put in every time was effort. And so he was one of my favorites, and pretty easy to cheer for. So, but the reason that was because I recognized the effort that he put into what he was doing. You're going to look back and say, you know, there's not too many people that as a kid have a dream of doing something, and and then grow up and be an adult and live out that dream.
He's going to be here with his bulls. He's got a great operation there in Oklahoma, and he's going to be on the winning side as well as he was in riding bulls. So he's dang sure not going to be missing. He's still going to be around, and he'll still be there whenever we get thrown off to put a smile on our face and say, you know, you can get him next time. So, you know, it was a great career for him. Just wish him the best of luck.
Whether he's riding bulls or not, he's going to be a cowboy, and I think he's going to carry on his rest of his life just the way he's been doing, you know, honestly, and just being Cord, you know.
Well, I think you can only reminisce about the past so much, and then a guy's gotta look ahead. And I have so many fond memories and love looking back, and you know, what's happened in the last 25 years of my life. But then on the other hand, you know, got married and have a beautiful, sweet wife that you know, loves the ranch life and and being at home, but you know, loves to travel and loves the bucking bulls, and you know, I guess a lot of things have changed, but you know, a lot of things are the same too.
Going to bull ridings, you know, I would always be pretty nervous and anxious, but now it seems like that Cord's not going to ride anymore. It seems like that's just switched over to the bulls that we raise. You know, we raise them from babies, and now we take them to the PBR events and stuff. So it's just kind of I'm rooting for somebody else rather than the riders. I'm rooting for the bulls, and rather than being nervous for Cord, I'm nervous for our little four-legged baby. I'll always remember a couple things about Cord going to events with him. He always gave 100%. He always made sure to have fun and enjoy what he was doing. And win or lose, you know, he always gave all the glory to God. Cord and I hope to continue to grow our business here on the ranch and, Lord willing, a bigger family.
I'm excited about what's coming up. I mean, we've worked on our program around the ranch. Just the 3 years that I've been married, you know, you can see the progress that's happened around here, and you know, Sarah's been, you know, just kind of jumped in with both feet on the whole ranch. You know, whatever that we had before is just you know, that much better or nicer now. So you know, I think we're a pretty good team that, you know, just to quit bull riding, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I'm excited about what we have coming, what we have going. If I had the opportunity to, you know, turn around and do it all over again, no matter how bad it hurt, no matter how tired and hungry and sore I was, I'd probably turn around and do it all again.